You think money, status, and followers will finally make people respect you. No. Your brain through social media has become so conditioned and manipulated to believe that all of these superficial things that these influencers dangle in front of you are the only things and the most important assets to obtain to be a respectable masculine man. I am here to tell you today that this is the complete and utter bipolar opposite of how respect is earned and received. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying that those things aren't cool. Yes, bro, they're cool and we all love to achieve them. But you don't achieve them and obtain them to gain respect. You get respect first. You become the man who you are when no one's watching. And then in turn, people will actually want to respect you because you've proven time after time after time that even when you're by yourself, your character and values stay the same. There have been so many, especially recently, of these influencers who are quite literally scammers who promote this lifestyle, and that makes you think you need to have this lifestyle to get respect from this girl in your class. No? You can be respected today. It's just if you follow these masculine traits, which I'm about to tell you in this video. Are you disciplined? Are you ambitious? And do you have a good quality work ethic which showcases you can go from point A to point B? And I already know what the second limiting belief is right now that's come into your brain. It's that you don't want to be too ambitious because you think that would come across as being arrogant or toxic or greedy. Call it arrogance, call it whatever you want, but I call it conviction. And that is the masculine essence. It's whatever you believe in, whatever you say, you know it's going to piss some people off. That's the funny part. Like, I know the content I post pisses people off. That they think I don't know that. I know that. That's besides the point. I have full conviction in what I say, and you should have full conviction in what you say. Because that makes you respectable. What doesn't make you respectable as a masculine man is being a people pleaser. Not having conviction, not being arrogant, not being greedy. Because you're almost afraid to piss people off. You think pissing people off is a bad thing. You think triggering something in someone is negative. When I'm here, I'm literally here to tell you today that it's a positive. It's attention. You're being noticed. Now, obviously, you want to be the man who becomes noticed for the right things. But you do know what the word polarizing means. Polarizing means you can, let's say I say a polarizing sentence. It's a sentence which there's almost like two sides. There's a side of people who support with what I say, and there's a side of people who don't support what I say. But as long as I have 1% of people who support me, that's all the conviction I need to know that whatever I say is right. And fuck the haters. That makes what I say polarizing, and that actually gives you respect in your business meetings, in the content you make, even in your relationship. If you are a polarizing individual that's not arrogant, that's not greedy, that's ambitious and has conviction, before having any of these superficial things like the car, the money, the status, if you have conviction, if you have a small following, if you're just in your room, but you know the words you say hold the most and most uttermost value, you have great character. You have great values. You have great ambition. You are actually masculine as fuck. And you know you're on the right path. And you don't give a shit about what anyone else says to you. Because you know all the actions you do. You know when you go to the gym. You know when you eat all your meals. You know when you go to bed on time. You know when you post that video. You know that that's all the evidence you need. And if some person is trying to knock on your door and tell you you're going the wrong way, you open the door and you quite frankly tell him to get lost. Because he doesn't see your vision. How can someone else read your brain and see your vision? You know where you're going, not some hater. You know you want respect. So you start doing and sharing your word. And you don't give a damn if some people call you arrogant, bro. Here's a quick story. When I first started posting content a year ago from this day, I had people say my message was too intense. Too intense. And that made me overthink. Like, fuck. Am I actually not warming enough to my viewers? Maybe I should be nicer. Maybe I shouldn't be myself. Maybe I shouldn't do what I thought was my most purposeful act. And I should probably tone it down a bit. I lost respect. The people that did support me, the people that did love me being more polarizing were like, Adrian, you should go back to what you used to do. And I was like, what? But these people want me to do this, but then they want me to do that. I'm just caught up in two brains. I'm just going to be a blob, aka a people pleaser, and just not having conviction in what I say anymore because I'm a bit of a pussy. I fell for that trap. If people are critiquing you, if people are judging you, as good as constructive criticism is, it's great, take it all in. If you're making progress, in whatever you're making progress in, look at the supporters and see what they have to say, because those are the people that are on your side. You'd rather hear words from people who support you than people who only have something negative to say. Because you know in your work, you are committing your most purposeful act. And you know you speak the way you speak. You know your mannerisms are the way your mannerisms are. You know your tone is how much you tone it up or tone it down. You know, not anyone else. And with self-improvement, I'm sure throughout this journey, when you've started to build on more muscle, Maybe you've started even becoming more confident. You're probably even starting to go on dates now. You know, the more progress you make, the haters, the noise actually starts to go down. But at first, when maybe you started going to the gym, you probably received the most hate because people weren't familiar. People saw you were making a change and everyone would do whatever it was to, whatever they can do to not let you escape. But you kept going gym, you kept building muscle, and you said, oh my God, look at me. I've got like huge biceps now. Am I arrogant? No. Am I grateful for the progress I've made? Yes. Does that give me more respect? Fuck yes. I'm ambitious. People will claim that as being narcissistic, that you've got muscles now. But it's not even about the muscles. It's about the lessons you learned throughout building those muscles. The discipline, the consistency, the work ethic. Those are masculine traits. That's how you get respect. Not just randomly getting a supercar from bullshit money you made from crypto. You also think that once you gain the respect, then you'll be classified as high value or worthy. Which is almost the same thing as, let's say, the supercars. You think you need to gain the supercars to be respected. You gotta flip it the other way around, bro. You have to flip it the other way around. You have to be worthy first. You feel worthy first, and then the world will mirror that energy. Masculine respect is all internal first, and then the whole world will follow your lead. Mind blowing. Something I wish younger Adrian knew. Because younger Adrian would be the biggest people pleaser. He would always go as far as cancelling his own plans to keep other people happy. He would throw his self-improvement in the bin to play video games, to keep his friends happy because he thought that would give him more respect. When in reality, he wasn't only letting himself down, he was letting his friends down. Because his friends thought he was the guy who was now consistent. But he would keep relapsing, so was he really? Call me insane, but was he really? Was he really a leader? Or a pleaser? That's one thing I want you to ask yourself right now. Are you a leader or are you a pleaser? Because if you're a pleaser and you're okay with that, by all means, bro, I'm not trying to convince you to become a leader, but you know that route of being a people pleaser has never really given you the happiness, fulfillment, purpose in your life. It hasn't given you much. It's kind of just made you more depressed and sad. You're just content. You're happy because you think being happy is so important and that you shouldn't endure in pain. You shouldn't do difficult challenges. You should just be happy because that's what the masculine essence is all about. Being happy and an emotional little weak boy. Not a man, a boy. Why that route? When you try to keep everyone happy, maybe you actually complete that goal of making the whole 8 billion people planet on this world happy. There will always be one person who's still unhappy. Even if you make absolutely everyone happy, boys, girls, fathers, mothers, grandparents, cousins, politicians, presidents, celebrities, sports stars, if you make everyone happy, you know who the one person, who will be unhappy is? You. You're not following your core purpose. You're too afraid to piss people off. You thought this whole time pissing people off was the bad thing. But it was the right thing. You know why? Because when you were little, like let's say 5 years old, you were your most authentic self. You would play with your toys. You would make a mess. You would piss off your parents. But you didn't care just because you were so unaware. But you were your most authentic self. You pissed off your parents, but that made them love you even more and get more respect. The only problem is, now that you've become an adult, you think by pissing people off is going to make you somehow lose respect. Going to make you attract a less girl. No. You follow your purpose and you don't care about other people's opinions. You master the art of, quite frankly, not giving a fuck. I can sit here and just tell you everything that helped me to reach this level of not giving a fuck. I can tell you all the books I read. I can tell you my full workout split and how I built my aesthetic physique. I can tell you how I managed to get my partner, how I went on dates, I can tell you how I did everything. But again, if I give you the cheat codes, that's like superficial. You don't get the lessons that I had to go through. You just get the final reward. And you think that will give you respect. Like we just mentioned, it won't give you respect and you will lose everything I give you within a week. Just because you don't know how to maintain it. Not the man who earns or deserves those things yet. And the funny thing is, you know you want all those things. You know you want a girlfriend. You know you want to be jacked. You know you want to be confident. You know you don't want to give a fuck about other people's opinions. You know you want all of that stuff. Well, congratulations, bro. You've reached the right channel. Because all my videos, in every video, I give a brutal, masculine, actionable step for you to follow in every single video. And for the guys that do follow it, they are always one step ahead. They are always one step closer to becoming their true selves. Because they just do it regardless of how they feel. They know being happy is superficial and not masculine. You need to be more logical. You can't be an emotional little soy boy. Do you think I was so happy reading all of the books I've read for the last 3 years? Over 70 books? It was pretty boring. It was lonely. It was tough. I hadn't read a single book since high school. But I just did it because I knew it was right. I did it because I always saw light at the end of the tunnel. And for those of you who don't know my full journey, I turned 23 in May. 3 years ago when I was 20. 2 years out of high school. 3 years in the gym, kind of built some muscle. I still couldn't look my friends in the eye. I still couldn't talk to girls. I couldn't do any of those scary stuff us guys think are scary. At 20. Now I'm 23. And I'm confident I'm the only guy in Melbourne, at least, who's doing what I'm doing. And now you're probably asking me, oh, Adrian, but are you happy? You're just doing it for status. No. I chase pain, and that makes me happy. Because I know I'm ahead in the race. I chase pain and discomfort because I know that gives me respect. I don't chase superficial stuff. I chase stuff that scares me, because when I do that, I am more of a masculine man. Your actionable step for this video is, quite frankly, to watch this video again. But this time, watch it with a journal and a pen. And I want you to write down and journal what you think are the most important parts of this video and areas in your life or limiting beliefs that you have and that you want to disintegrate, that I may have mentioned. And just stare at them. Like, let's say one of your limiting beliefs is you don't want to come across as arrogant or greedy. Write that down and just stare at it for 10 minutes and genuinely think, who will call you arrogant, and do you even value their opinions? Because that was something which, like I said at the start of this video, and that story I told, made me hesitate, and I kind of listened to them. Because, maybe I was coming off too intense. Maybe I did have to tone myself down. Maybe I was going insane. But then I wrote it down. And I asked myself, am I arrogant? Or am I passionate? Because the reason why I talk, you can say, intensely, is because younger Adrian didn't have these videos to watch. Whoa. Younger Adrian needed some guy to be intense, to be masculine, to have full conviction. But he didn't have that. And if he did, his self-improvement progress would it would be a lot faster. He'd probably start going on dates when he was 18 and not 20. He'd probably build a body faster and not play video games till 3 a.m. I don't know why we correlate passion and ambition with arrogance and misogyny and toxicity. This world is lacking leaders. This world is lacking respectable men. Year by year, and this is proven. I've seen the study. If I can find it, I'll link it. But this isn't university. I don't need a bibliography or that crap. References. Year by year, testosterone levels are going lower and lower. Our masculine drive, our hunger, our ability to have conviction and say what we feel like is right, even though it pisses people off, that conviction is slowly fading in young men. Just because of the food we eat. Just because of we're not told to go outside because the sun will give us cancer. We need to just sit in an office, wear a tie, bounce up and down like this, because I'm so happy. I'm completing such meaningless tasks on my laptop. But hey, I'm trying to keep everyone happy. I'm having a positive impact on society, but not myself. Those people have the testosterone levels of an ant. Compare that person to the guy who's on self-improvement. The guy who does whatever it takes to improve and increase his testosterone. The guy who's learning about how to become more of a leader by reading the book 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by James L. Garlow. Who's going to get more respect? The guy who has some pretty cool finance office job and is making this amount of money even though he feels unhappy? Or the guy who has fucking high testosterone, full conviction, not scared to piss people off, and is purely present, has integrity, and masculine? He's still leaving a positive impact on society. Probably an even bigger one. But he's deciding the impact he leaves. He's caving his own path. He's writing his own story. He's leading the way. I know for me, I want to be that guy. And this guy managed to eliminate all of his limiting beliefs. So why don't I follow his path? Why don't I listen to Adrian's actionable steps? Why don't I try to eliminate and disintegrate all of the limiting beliefs I have? Because he's proven it's possible. He read all those books. He read The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. He read The Laws of Human Nature. He read 48 Laws of Power. He read The Power of Now. He read Tough Times Create Strong Men. He read all those books. Hard Times Create Strong Men. Mumble my words. If he did it, I can do it. And if not, better. So he got respect that way? Okay. I'm going to follow a similar path, but I'm going to do it my way. And I know it's not going to be smooth sailing at first. I know there's going to be ups and downs. I know people are going to be unhappy, and I know people are going to be happy. But I'm just doing it for me. That's why I started self-improvement in the first place. That's why I started going to the gym. You can say, yeah, it was for female attention. Kind of true. But I was so dissatisfied with getting no respect. So I had to chase pain, even though it's fun, and ignore and deflect pleasure, like instant gratification. And if I'm on that path, I know the future version of myself is a man who commands respect. There are no chain locks holding you down. They're limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs can be erased. The question just comes down to, do you have the balls and perseverance to flick them away? I'll leave that question with you. You don't need money. You don't need status. You don't need followers. You need to become a man now. I hope this video motivated or educated you I am currently doing one-on-one coaching mentorship. That will be the second link in the description. Also, I do have a full list of all the books I read. If you are interested or investing in those, which I highly recommend, because those gave me the data sets and blueprints, you can call them, to not only help me speak this well, but to give me knowledge which lasts a lifetime. First link in the description, books that made me a man. Other than that, make sure to click the subscribe button and also that little bell icon, so kind of like reminded when I do upload these types of videos, so you can watch them and educate yourself as soon as humanly possible. I'll see you in the next video.